So now we're going to have a look at the open guard position when you're on the bottom. So we just looked at the closed guard where the guy on the bottom has his legs fully wrapped around his opponent's hip. Right? That's a closed guard or full guard. Your legs are closed around your opponent. The open guard figures then is when your legs aren't closed, right? They're open. So we're in the situation here. He's gone from having his legs locked to now being unlocked. And you can see instantly I should be able to move backwards now, whereas before, if his legs are locked behind me, that's not something I'm going to be able to do, right? Because there's an actual barrier, his ankles are locked behind me, I'm tied in position. As soon as he opens that, I can and will get out of this because this is not a good spot for me in Jiu Jitsu, right? So we need to look at what his options are. So I can also mostly look to stand from here as well, or bring a knee through the middle now, so it's harder for him to close his guard around me. Once his knee starts coming through, it becomes very hard to play closed guard, and he has to move to different options. So now what happens, a lot of guys I see when they're starting off, once the guard is open, the legs just stay open, and they've got their legs rubbing, like, you know, the inside of the legs are rubbing against my hips. It's not the same as if he plants his feet either on my hips or actually on me, so now he can push away. Right? It's very, very different from just having your legs open. The insides of the legs basically in connection. So there's not much, there's no purchase, you can't really push and you can't really pull. If he starts placing his legs on me, you can push really well. You can also start hooking his feet underneath my knees, underneath anything, or my arms. You can use that to push and pull as well, which is very, very important. He's also got his arms free. I see there's a lot of guys will lay on their back and they just use their legs, so they're thinking about defending still. Right? But this can be a very aggressive position. If he's holding onto my collar and now I can't stand up straight, I can't move away. Whereas before, if he's just got his legs in contact with me, right, you can push, you can stop me coming forwards, but you can't stop me walking away. Now here I'm holding onto his legs, mostly to keep his legs looking like they're active. But there's also something that I will be looking to do. I want to control his legs. Now it's a battle of arms against legs here, but I can also move around much more freely than he can, because he's laying on his back and I'm standing upright. So he needs to take away my movement. Right, before in the closed guard, now his legs are closed, he can push and pull with his legs. Now in the open guard, unless he's starting to hook here, now he can kind of push and pull here. It's not as strong, so he needs to start getting his arms involved. You can grab my sleeves, my collar, give him a hold onto my leg to limit my movement. The most important thing when you're on your back, playing this open guard situation here, is that you have to start getting your grips. The more control you have, the more you can influence your opponent, the more you can look to attack. Right? The open guard position is, look, it's huge. It's one of the biggest things in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. You have so many different variations, so many different ways to play the guard. So we're not going to cover all of them now. But the one thing I want to hammer into your heads from the very start is it's an offensive position. You're looking to attack, but you cannot attack, you cannot do things until you have control over your opponent. And to get control, you need to grip and you need to get your legs involved as well. You want as many points of control, whether that's feet pushing, feet hooking, grabbing a collar, grabbing a sleeve, grabbing a leg. Either way, you want at least 3 points of control. 4 is better. Like, the less you have, the worse it is for you. Because if I can break all your points of control here, right, now it's just about how quickly I can move around and how quickly you can counter it, how quickly you can move to adjust. And it's very easy for me just to step past at this point, especially if he's lying flat like this. Right? If he's holding on to me, slowing down my movement becomes much harder for the guy on top, and much better for him on the bottom. So get your grips, hold on to them, try and take their balance. We reverse the situation here. Interesting. We'll take his legs away for a second, but you can see Now I'm holding on to him here. He can't move away. As soon as I'm opening my legs, he can stand, he can move away. Right? If I just have my legs pinched like this, yeah, I can hold him now because he's very light, but it's still just relying on that grip here, and it's not going to be the strongest movement in the world. If I can have my feet connected here, now with my arm holding as well, I can push him away. I've got a leg press movement here. I can switch, putting my feet on his arms, on his shoulders. I can control as well. I can pull him in towards me here. You can see now, even though I'm just doing this with dummy, obviously, I can still grip. I can still hold. I can pull. I can push. Right? And now this is going to set me up for a lot of attacks. And I can keep him off balance. Even if I don't know what I'm doing, if he's just trying to stand upright, obviously what's good for me is bad for him. So as he starts trying to stand, he starts trying to move around me, he starts trying to control me, I want to take away his control. He holds me, I break his grip, his hands are on my legs, I kick away, I break his grips, I take away his control, and I establish my own. He's also trying to stay on top, mobile, balanced, able to move around. So stands to reason, I should take away his balance, I can push from his legs, I can tilt him over, I can push his hips away. Right? If I just push away, you see he stays upright. If I pull and push, I tilt him, I take him off balance. The more off balance he is, the easier it is for me to work my attacks, whatever they may be. So we're not going to go into specific details, but I want to make it very clear. Control, taking their balance, taking away their control, very, very important in the open guard.